Hey everyone, it's Carol with BeInspiredMarket.net. Today we're going to be working with this little house from Michaels in 3 colors: plaster, ballerina slipper, and moss. These are all Waverly chalk paint. And then I found these rub-on letters from Dollar Tree in their craft squares collection. So we're going to start off with painting our house. We're going to go ahead and take some plaster. That's the color. You're just going to paint the front, the back, and the sides, getting all the edges. I just did 1 coat. That was sufficient to cover this little house. Again, the house was from Michaels. It's only $1. You can usually find it up by the cashier area. Now we're going to add some tape. This is 1.5 inch painter's tape. Make sure that your white or your plaster color is completely dry before doing this step. So I just put it in the center, and then I took my second piece and you butt the tape pieces together, leaving no space, making sure that you press it down so that your lines are going to be crisp. And then I just remove the center piece. Now I'm going to paint it with the ballerina slipper, which is a beautiful light pink color. I absolutely love it. So you just take your ballerina slipper, make sure that, again, your tape is secure, and then you go ahead and paint all the sections of the house. So once you have that done, you're going to remove the tape and you're going to dry your paint before you go on to the next step. So I just take an embossing dryer and go ahead and dry the ballerina slipper color until it's completely drying. Then once you have that done, you can move on to the next step. So we're going to go horizontally now. So I went to the center, and then I put another piece down, again, just butting it up against each other. And then I removed the center piece. That was more of just a spacer. And then I do the same for the top. So I put it down as a spacer, and then I add a small piece to the top and remove it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to paint it again the same color as the ballerina slipper. So you're really just using the ballerina slipper for your second step and for your third step. Now, once you have this painted, you leave the painter's tape on and then completely dry the paint before moving on to the next step. So with the tape still on the house, you're going to apply another row of painter's tape going vertically. But what you're doing is you're going to put them in the same area that you put the tape on your first step. So you'll see that there's you'll see the white coming through. You can't see it so much on the camera, but you'll see it when you do your painting. So again, if you look at this, it's really the same placement that it was in the first step. And then I'm just taking the ballerina slipper and I'm adding white to it. So really just lightening it up, making sure that it's much lighter than the original color. And then again, just painting it. And you can see it is much lighter. So once you have that all painted, again, all of this is just 1 coat, then you remove all your tape. And then again, you can see this is just a plaid pattern. But look how cute it's coming out. And now we're going to add the moss. So again, make sure it's dry. Once it's dry, you're going to take some more painter's tape and you're going into the center of each row. Now you're not butting the tape together, you're leaving some space there so that you can paint the moss. So it's a very thin line that you'll be painting. Just make sure it's as straight as possible. And then I take the moss and I paint a thin line. Make sure your tape is down and paint that. And then you're going to go to the other center and do the same thing. Put your tape down, take your other tape, and just make a very thin line in the center. Always make sure you're pressing down your tape to make sure that you're not going to get any bleed through. Now, before I placed my third one, I went ahead and made sure that that center line was dry, just so that the paint wouldn't smear. So just paint that, and then put your tape, again, making a thin line and painting with the moss. So look, this little house is so cute. This is something that you can use on your tiered trays. And again, it's only $1 from Michael's. So now we're going to go horizontally. So we're going to do the same technique. Make sure it's fully dry before we apply the tape. And then you're going to again go in the center of your rows and apply the tape, leaving space in between for your moss paint. And then taking the brush, putting some paint on there. Then I noticed it needed one more little line at the bottom, so I went ahead and added that. And that's how simple that technique is. And you can see it's a plaid. It has that Easter springy look to it. So once we're done with that, you make sure it's fully dry, and we're going to move on to the rub-on letters. So you just line up your letters. I'll be spelling out home. So once I have my H where I want it, I just used, it's like a popsicle stick. You can get these craft sticks at Dollar Tree. So again, this is rub-on letters. You can find them in the craft square section of your Dollar Tree. And you just lightly, it doesn't take much to rub these on. And you know once you're pulling off that backing, if it's clear, then your letter has transferred down to your project. Just be careful. If you rub any of the other letters, they'll come off. So just focus on just rubbing the letter that you need, and you'll be fine. Now I see it does take a little bit, or it could be a little more centered, but it still looks cute to me. And then I pull off my E. Look how cute that's coming out. So for the final touch, I have these wreaths left over. I got them at the Dollar Tree during Christmas time. I just cut off the berries, made the wreath a little smaller, added the hot glue, and applied it to the top. Now, if you can make a bow, you can definitely add that to that. But how cute is that? So simple. So for more DIYs, check out 𝐵inspiredmarket.net.